So he has his own talents. I wish I had his musical talent. He wishes he could cook like me, so it's fair, you know. Anyway, what was I saying? Oh, it does hit me. It really does. So David's been chopping vegetables for me, and we're joking and talking and having a good time. And my grandmother comes in and wants to know how she can help. And and I'm like, okay, all right, Granny wants to help. We will find a way for Granny to help. And so David, and I'm like, I kind of give David the signal that he is to keep an eye on her because at this point she has about as much energy as an 18-year-old Duracell battery that has been used hard. And I'm like, keep an eye on her, let her do what she wants, make sure she can handle it, you know, and she's, but she's helping. And she hasn't been able to cook for herself in years at this point. And so it's almost a matter of self-esteem for her, if you know what I mean. That she's actually getting to help with the family meal, one last time. Of course, we don't talk about the fact that it's one last time, but everybody knows that this is the last time. She's not going to make it to another Thanksgiving. And and uh, and so she helped me, and she sliced fruit, and she talked, and she told stories, and and when everything was said and done, everybody had eaten, and the family had you know misted back in to watch the football game or to play, on the Xbox, or just hang around and talk. And I was in the kitchen cleaning up because why not? That was I. It's part of the job, and I enjoy doing that too. She came in and she poured herself a cup of coffee, and she was talking to me about the meal and what she thought of it and how great it was. And I grabbed a cup of coffee and I joined her at the little bar that I had. And she reached out and she patted me on the arm. And she said, Jackie. She was the only person in the world I ever let call me Jackie. I was never a Jackie. I was always a Jack. Um, she said, Jackie, I gotta tell you, you are a much better chef than I ever was. And I just kind of smiled at her and I said, I can't understand how that could possibly happen in the entire world, how it would ever be possible that I could be a better chef than she ever was. But she said that to me, and it was basically validation for my entire life up until then. Because the woman I saw as my role model, the reason I went into cooking, told me that I was better at it than she was. I still don't believe it. I still refuse to believe that I was a better cook than she ever was. But at the same time, she said that to me. Yeah, sorry. I kind of got mushy. I kind of got mushy. Um, and now I'm dripping. I got, I'm sorry about that, man. But she meant a lot to me. She was an important person in my life. And she was fun. My grandmother she was the life of the party. She did not let the fact that she was older slow her down. She loved going to, it was funny. The day I got hired as a chef at Disney, everybody else was like, congratulations on the job. We know you wanted to do this because, oh yes, I wanted to be not just a chef. I wanted to be a Disney chef. Oh, she was amazing. She really was. Um, I wanted to be a Disney chef. It wasn't just enough for me to be a chef. I wanted to be a Disney chef. And when I finally got the job at Disney, I did work at other places before, but when I finally got the job at Disney, everybody else was like, "Hey, this is your dream. You finally got your dream." And what did Granny say? She goes, "Good. Now I can get in for free." And of course, she said it with this big shit-eating grin on her face that you knew that you just knew that she was joking. But at the same time, she took advantage of it, and man, the flower and garden festival would happen at Epcot, and we'd go. I'd pack her in a car and take her out, um, and we'd have a great time out there. She was a huge Disney fan. She loved Disney, and I mean, what's not to love? Because it's fantastic. Hold on a second. I'm gonna mute my mic for a second while I blow my nose, guys. Sorry about this. All right, that's better. I did not intend to get all sappy and sentimental, but you know what? I can't help it. She's been gone now for 10 years, and I got to tell you, um, I was at work when I got the news, and I had walked in that day, and Disney has a very strict no cell phone policy. You do not bring your cell phone into the work environment. The only exception normally is if there's some kind of personal emergency, and you have to let the people know. You have to let the bosses, your bosses, know that there's the potential for personal emergency ahead of time. We are expecting this bad thing to happen. Therefore, I'm going to have my cell phone on me just in case. Well, I walked in the day that she died. I walked in. Whoops, that's the wrong one. And I told him that we had just got word from the doctor that morning that she was on her last legs and probably would not make it through the night. And so we were basically on a watch. And I had asked my parents, what should I do? And they were like, go to work, be as normal as possible. You know how she would want you to, and she would. She's she was the kind of don't make any fuss over me kind of person, and so I went to work. But walking into work, I told my bosses, I said, look, my grandmother is on her deathbed. She was the inspiration for me becoming a chef in the first place. When I get word, I'm going to have my cell phone on me. I don't give a damn about policy. If you want to fire me over it, fire me over it. When I get word that she's gone, I am very likely going to fall apart, and you are going to need to find a replacement for me because I won't be able to work anymore that day. And they were all kind of like, oh, okay, all right, we'll see what we can do, that kind of thing. And of course, about 4.5 hours into my shift, I get a phone call, and it's my brother Nathan. And Nathan just kind of goes, she's gone. And that was it. I collapsed in a heap. I had to be carried out. I was so devastated by the news. Because she was the inspiration. She was the reason why I became a chef. And I'm going to miss her forever. I will never not miss her. It's odd because my other grandparents, I'll be honest, I can't remember what my other grandmother sounds like anymore. I can't remember her voice. I remember what she looked like. My other grandmother was not a nice person. I will say this. The old cliche about how one grandmother is evil and the other grandmother is a saint? That's what I had. My other grandmother, unfortunately, was a racist hag. And I know that sounds horrible, but it is what it is. And I'll let you know something for nothing. my own mother, my evil racist grandmother's daughter, would be the first person to tell you that her mother was a stone cold bitch. Excuse me for saying, you know, my own mother would be the first person to say that her mom was an unpleasant person. So I'm not exactly, upsetting anybody by telling you that I didn't like her at all. It's just the way it was. Anyway, but I made up for it by the fact that I had two really great um, grandfathers and one absolutely amazing grandmother. I was lucky that way because she was supportive and nice and helped her grandkids succeed in life. And for the most part, we all have. Me and my siblings and my first cousins. I don't have as many first cousins as my father. I think I'd mentioned that he had 17 first cousins, but not as many first cousins as my father. But I had a pretty good collection of them, and now they're all wonderful people. We were raised right under the wings of a woman who, despite being born in the 1920s, despite being raised in the 30s and being an adult in the 40s, and in the South, mind you, never had a racist thought her entire life. And it was in that environment that I was raised. She honestly believed that, for all that she was a Southern lady, for all that she was the product of the South in the 20s and 30s, she believed that you treated people right. And it didn't matter who they were. It didn't matter, it didn't matter, you know. Black person, white person, Hispanic, Asian, she didn't care. Male, female, she didn't care. And here's a big one, especially given that she was a Southern Baptist. Gay or straight, she didn't care. And this is the woman that raised me. I owe her everything, you know. And the great thing was my grandfather, her husband, my grandfather, had the same attitude. He explained it once to me. He said that he's got too much things to do to hate people. His life was too complicated and too busy to spend his time hating people. So, there you go. Um, that's the environment in which I was raised, and I believe in it. My mother and my father did a good job teaching me what is wrong and what is right, and what I should value and what I shouldn't value. What's worth spending your time on and what's not. And I tried to impart the same sort of lessons with my own children. I hope I succeeded. My own kids are all out of the house now. That's going to bug me. It's not lining up completely, and it's going to bug me. There we go. Yeah, thanks. I didn't mean to go off on a bit of a tangent like that, because that, but I can't talk about my grandmother without talking about the life lessons she gave me, and I can't talk about the life lessons she gave me without talking about the basic moral person that she was, and she was a very moral person. If there are such things as saints, she was one. I will say that. I'm not a real religious person. I am, in fact, an atheist. I am not ashamed of that fact. I do not carp on people who are religious. I believe that everybody makes their own decisions, and this is just one that I came to. But if there are such a thing as saints, she was definitely one of them. My grandfather, I will admit, was not a saint. He was a little too I want to say rough. That's not the right way to describe it. He wasn't mean. He wasn't abusive. He was um, basic's not the word I mean either. He wasn't. My grandmother would go out of her way to do nice things for people. Grandpa never hurt anybody, and he didn't believe in hurting people unless it was absolutely necessary. He did not believe in causing harm to other people. But at the same time, he was the quiet, leave me alone and don't get into my business, and I won't get into your business type. Does that make any sense? I hope it makes sense. You know, and by all means, I want I want it understood that he was a good man. He really was. He did his best for his family, and he did his best uh, for his grandkids and his kids. Um, but he was in his own way a kind man, but his kindness was not as effusive as my grandmother's. I guess is what I'm trying to say. Hopefully, like I said, hopefully that makes sense. I can't believe I'm doing this. There we go. Now, just so everybody knows, according to my clock, it's 3:06. We've been doing this now for an hour and 10 minutes. If I don't finish this, or even worse, if I don't even get to the animal, I'm going to be doing this again tomorrow. This is a new series. I'm going to be putting it on my YouTube channel. I'm going to get a drink real quick. Ugh, my Coke is flat. Anyway, this is a new video series, so I'll be working on it for as long as it takes to finish it. And if I have to divide it up among several different live stream sessions, I'll do that too. I don't care. What? More content for my Twitch channel? Oh my gosh, no. Save me. And I understand I'm working on the administration buildings. I need to fix these walls for that matter right now, and I haven't even gotten to the animals. But, it happens that way. And I just like playing the game and talking and, telling my story. This is a good game for talking and telling stories. Let me pull that out just a little. Let's see, what else? You see that? It's not quite straight. Oh, I'm such a perfectionist. I can't believe it. There. All right. Let's handle this right now. And then we'll go back to the wood trim. Okay. Boom, boom. And then stained wood. Let's see. Monday is going to be my birthday, just so everybody knows. I'm being taken out to SeaWorld here in Orlando. And there's something my brother, this is Nathan again, my brother, who my brother is also one of my best friends, just so you know. We share a lot of interests, and he was there when I needed a lot of emotional support, and I was there when he was, when he needed it. And as such, we are best of friends, the two of us. This despite the fact that he's 10 years younger than I am. And growing up, we didn't associate a lot because, I was, why would a 20-year-old be hanging out with a 10-year-old, right? It's just, but as adults, we became, really, really close friends. And now, of course, he's in his mid 40s and I'm in my mid 50s. And you know, we hang out a lot, we talk a lot. Uh, in fact, I think right now he's probably downstairs on his Xbox. He does live with me, um, but right now he's probably downstairs on his Xbox playing Stardew Valley. He's trying to do this thing. I don't play the game, so I don't know what it is, but it's something called the 1 year challenge. Um, and he's been working on it forever. And so he plays Stardew Valley a lot. But as soon as I'm done here, um, it'll be what, about 4 o'clock. Yeah, about 4:30 is when I need to start working on the fish, so that when my mom gets here, when my mom and dad get here, everything will be ready. From if I remember correctly, I think my other brother Aaron is going to show up, and I know that my sister-in-law Gail, Aaron's wife, works today, but I do believe that my niece Elizabeth is coming over too, so it'll be a bit of a family party. That'll be nice. Yeah, that'll do. And it'll be fun. It'll be fun. I like family get-togethers, especially over dinner. Um, there's just something wonderful about. Oh, that was not what I wanted. What was it? Undo. Undo. Okay. There's something wonderful about family get-togethers, especially over dinner. And it's not often that my entire family can get together, especially because I know I said that my kids are all grown up. Yeah, one of them lives in Tampa. I'm in the Orlando area in Tampa. A lot of let me break to discuss something that a lot of people think is weird. Um, a lot of people don't know this about Florida. They look at a map of Florida and they're like, yeah, it's a long peninsula, it's surrounded by water. They make jokes like, it's America's Wang, because by all means it does look like that. But those maps lie. And the reason I say that those maps lie is because what they don't tell you is that north south Florida is actually the fourth longest state in the United States. When measured north south, only Alaska, California, and Texas are longer. And Texas only has us by about 40 miles. Get another drink. So north south, we're huge. And east west, we are very narrow. So it doesn't look like we're as big as we are. But the reason I bring this up is because my son lives in another city. And it would be inconvenient. This is my son Zachary, my oldest boy. It would be utterly inconvenient for him to come by with any regularity to visit his old dad. We talk a lot on the phone, and we have a pretty good relationship. But he has his own life. He's a grown up. He's got he's in a committed relationship. No kids, but that's okay. He's got one from an ex, so I've got grandchildren. Just not with the current person. Anyway, my other son, um, Jared, is going to college out in Texas, and I don't see him very often. And being a college student, he quite often forgets to call. I'll be like, I haven't talked to Jared in forever, and then I'll be on Steam, and it'll be like, Jared is now playing Modern Warfare, or Dota, or whatever game it is that he's playing, and I'll be like, "Hey, sport, how you doing?" And he goes, "Oh, hey, Dad, how you doing? Nice. I was playing a game, and I'm like, yeah, I can see that. You mind picking up your phone once in a while? Because of course I'm a dad. I'm allowed to nag. Um, you know, he's 20 and he's young and he's finally escaped the nest and he's out from under his dad's wing. Um, I was a single parent. I raised my boys by myself, and well, I say by myself as if my parents didn't help, as if my grandparents didn't help, but you guys know what I mean, you know. Um, so now Jared's away from the house and he's got all this freedom, and he's like, "Oh yeah, that's right. I got a call every once in a while." And it's like, "Yeah, just let us know you're still alive. That's all I ask." Okay. Water, water, water. Where'd I put my water? Here's my water. Oof. Alrighty. This, I have to admit, this thing I'm doing now with the trim is tedious. It is tedious, but it is necessary because um, otherwise this building just would not work. It would not look correct. But what I'm hoping is I can just dupe the pieces like I'm doing now across the front, and we will be done with this part of the trim. All right, so now for my interior garden. What am I going to put in here? All right, let's turn off all the blueprints so we're just dealing with the plants. Excuse me again, guys. No, I was right the first time. We're going to start off with campion moss. Let's see, what is it? 1 meter, 1 meter, 1 meter, 2 meters, 4 meters. Yeah, that'll work. Okay. And so, anyway, I was originally talking about my birthday on Monday. So, Nathan was like, well, what do you want to do on your birthday? And I said, well, I wouldn't mind going out and seeing the penguins. SeaWorld, the local SeaWorld, has this fantastic penguin exhibit with its interior, and the entire thing is kept at 28 degrees. It's basically a big room, and the guests, the zoo guests, are on one side of a barrier, and then there's the water, and then there's the actual habitat for the penguins, and it's all inside, and it's this huge room, and the entire room is kept at 28 degrees Fahrenheit. Um, and they warn you going in that you should probably have a sweater, which is ridiculous because, no, they replaced that. They replaced it. It's no longer, with the track. Um, you're no longer shut off from the penguins, and it's now um, it's now a bit of a walkthrough, like a standard exhibit. Um, but the penguins themselves are open. There is no wall separating you anymore. Just the barrier that's keeping the water back. And if you go to my YouTube channel, which is also Grumpy Old Guy Plays Games, there is a video in the personal stuff section called, I think it's like 40 Seconds of Penguins. and it's got a pretty good shot of that penguin habitat. But anyway, I love penguins. I openly admit that penguins are my animal. They're the one that you know. If I had to name a favorite, what would it be? And it's penguins. Um, all right, that's going to be our bed. And I love penguins without reservation. And so I was like, I wouldn't mind going out and seeing the penguins because we have passes to SeaWorld. And so we can basically go whenever we want. We go down, we don't have to pay for parking. I go in, I see my penguins, we watch a whale show or whatever, and we go home. We don't have to plan for the entire day because it's not like we spent, $100 to get in like at Disney where you're, my God, I'm not just going to waste it on one thing. I'm going to get my money's worth. So as a result, if we decide we want to just go down and spend an hour in SeaWorld, we can go down and spend an hour in SeaWorld. It's no big deal. And so that's what I was originally thinking. I was like, let's take an afternoon trip and, go see the penguins or watch a seal show or something like that. And yesterday, Nathan comes up to me and goes, okay, well, we're going to be getting up early because we want to be there at park opening. And I'm like, why? What's the big deal? Normally we just show up whenever we want. And he goes, no, this time we have to be there at park opening. And I'm like, okay, dude, you're scaring me. What's going on? And he goes, I have something planned. I paid extra. We're going to get there at park opening. And I'm like, oh my God, what did you do? So I have no idea. Oh yeah, it sounds very interesting, doesn't it? I have no idea what he planned, but I suspect it's got something to do with the fact that it's going to be my birthday. And I haven't really done birthday surprises in a while. I mean, you know how it is. You get a certain age and you're like, birthdays just aren't as, they're fun. You might do something special once in a while, but for the most part, they're just any other day. You might have some cake and ice cream, but, you don't go out of your way to celebrate them anymore. Well, apparently he did something. The big galoot actually decided that I deserved a special day, so I'm doing a special day. I have no idea what it is, but I'm a little afraid of it because Nathan's the kind of person who will, you show up at the TGI Fridays on your birthday and suddenly they're singing happy birthday to you, that kind of thing. And okay, what do you think? How's that for an indoor garden? And he does that kind of thing, those birthday ambushes. Let me get another drink. Why, thank you. Okay. Let me get these guys. I am not going to do both buildings in this session, I don't think, because I do want to do some work on the animals. There. Short grass. All right. I do intend to work on those other two buildings. Right now, I want to say that I have at least started the Aardvark habitat. Okay. And that's as white as it'll get, huh? Okay. I love the terrain tool. Terrain tool is wonderful. All right. We're going to move this out just a bit to about there. Instant pit. All right, and let's see. All right, let's. Can I widen this just a little, or narrow it? Yeah, 6. 6 works. Okay. So you're wondering why I just made a donut. This donut is going to be my aardvark habitat. Now all I got to do is play with it a little. Let's get my flatten tool. We're going to bring this way, just a touch. All right. That'll work. And go ahead and smooth this out some. Wait, nope. I need it wider. I need this wider. Currently working on a panda house. I didn't record it. It's important to watch. Hey, I am constantly amazed that people want to sit here and watch what I'm doing, because I'm like, all I'm doing is putting things together and talking about, telling stories about, my family. I did not intend to talk about my family as much as I did, but it's as good a topic as any. I talk about whatever. I mean, my last Planet Zoo video that I posted, I talked about classic rock, and I talked about a band that I used to listen to in the 70s that was called Bread. And they're very mellow, mellow, soft rock, but they did this song called If that was, oh my lord, that song would get you dates. It was such a romantic song, so and I what started off was, it was a conversation about how I had a weird song from the this song I hadn't ever listened to in a long time, that was originally published. I think this song was originally released in like 1962, and so it was a bit of a surprise that I had it crawling around in my head. And I mentioned that the weirdest, because that happens to everybody, but the weirdest occasion that I ever had where it was a case of a song I hadn't heard in decades showing up in my head one morning as I woke up, was when I woke up one day and had the song If by Bread in my head. And like I said, I used to listen to Bread back in the 70s, but I stopped listening to Bread in the 80s, and I hadn't heard a Bread song probably since 1978. It's supposed to be shortgrass. Why is that not shortgrass? That's odd. Anyway, and to wake up with a song that you haven't heard since 1978 in your head, and it's 2020, that's a little bothersome. If only because you're like, what the heck? How is, why is that song in my head? Why would that song ever be in my head? Well, it's because it's in your memory, and, who knows what your memory, why your memory does what it does. Okay. for crying out loud. I hate when it's uncooperative. I hate when it's uncooperative. Okay, why are you doing that? What's the problem? Terrain too uneven for placement. My big wide behind. Come on, dude. I do this kind of thing all the time. Why are you having trouble now? Oh, it works there. It works there, but not over here? That's ridiculous. All right. All right. If that's the way they want it, that's the way we'll have it. Okay. And let's see. Isn't that weird? It would not let me post across. That'll let me do this little workaround. That is ultimately bizarre. The rules of this game sometimes are utterly incomprehensible to me. They really are. But whatever. If it works, it works. Okay. All right. 6 meters. And away we go. Yeah, this is definitely going to take more than one session, but you know what? That's fine. I'm not doing these as speed runs, obviously. And I am doing them on Twitch, which is, you know, I actually like doing live gameplay. It's fun. It offers a challenge because here I am. Yeah, that's true. Sometimes it is really weird. It's like, you know, please let me figure out the rules before you change them. Oh boy. So I know I have one over on the other side, but you know what? I don't need one. That's right. This is a single habitat. I actually forgot the rules of the zoo as I myself created them. How about that? Is that weird or what? I think it's weird. I think it's very weird. So, no, wait. Let's back this off. Back. Okay. Now, aardvarks are a relatively shy species. So they're going to need... Hey, no, that's okay. You take care of work. I will talk to you later, man. Thank you for spending time with me. I really appreciate it. You know, I'm going to be working on this for about another 20 minutes, and then I'm going to be shutting it down, and I'll come back to it probably tomorrow about the same time, about 2 o'clock. And I'm going to be working on it until it's finished. And this is going to be, like I said, it's going to be a full-blown zoo, but it's going to be a full-blown zoo with only a single habitat in it. So it's going to be the aardvarks and nothing. But I do have plans. I've got an idea in my head. I've got a vision. And those are always dangerous, aren't they? Well, thank you very much. I appreciate the fact that you enjoyed it. And, you know, I tell stories while I'm playing. I just do. I'm going to enjoy it, it's going to be a fantastic dinner. It really will be a fantastic dinner. I'm going to put my heart into it. I've never actually cooked this dish before, so I want to get it right. And you be careful out there, okay? Take care. Um, you know, watch out for yourself. Watch out for yourself. I keep getting the feeling that we're almost through to the end, that eventually we're going to get to the point where we don't have to be constantly on guard to avoid getting sick. But in the meantime, until we reach that point, please be careful while you're out and about. All right? I'd hate to see anybody get jammed up by all this. So thank you very much for spending time with me, Jurassic. I really appreciated it. You be good at work. Okay. All right, that's not high enough. That's okay, because we can always do this. No. No. What I want is I want this. Why is that obstructed? Why? Why? Okay. All right. We'll make that 2. I want the path to be over here. All right. You know, this ought to work. This really ought to work. I don't understand why it doesn't. Yeah, that'll be fine. Okay. Alrighty. So let's lower the terrain a little over here. And make this part deeper. Yeah, that was a great conversation. I love talking to people. You know, I just do. Let's see. And let's lower it even more here. Okay. Yeah. Oh yeah, this is working. This is working. I like this. Okay, let's get in here and down here. Okay. I'm going to go to 2. And what? I'm going the wrong direction. Yep, I am going in the wrong direction. So let's do this. Let's go this way. If it looks like I'm building some sort of tunnel, you're right. I am. And I know I just got quiet, but you know, it is what it is. Oh, for crying out loud. I should have accidentally intercepted those 2 tunnels by now. All right. Okay, folks. Well, we've been at this for an hour and 45, and we've made some major progress. I'm actually going to call it early. So let me save this real quick. New save. Right. And, you know, folks, I had a good time. I want to thank Jurassic World for stopping by and having such a great conversation with me. You know, I want to thank Lighter for stopping by. It was great to talk to people. But in the meantime, you know, you guys stay safe out there, and I will see you in the next stream. Okay? Bye-bye.